doing a vlog today on lowering another car. Lowering a Mustang GT, super clean. I am just putting a spring on it this time. So what they do is they actually engineer new coils that are be a certain drop, like 1.5, 2 inches, 1.3, things like that. This SR Performance, known for Mustangs and things like that. So they are a progressive rate coil. The benefit of a lowering coil versus a coilover is ride quality. Their initial spring rate at ride height is a little softer, maybe even softer than stock, but it progressively gets stiffer. So around corners and things like that, it actually will handle a lot better than factory spring is. But at just initial freeway rides, just at ride height, it'll be actually a nice and soft and comfortable, versus a coilover is a linear rate coil, so it'll be usually a lot stiffer at ride height, and you'll have a more of a race feel, a race ride all the time, versus a soft ride and then a race ride when you need it around corners. So if you are looking for a more comfortable but good handling vehicle, go with a good spring like an Eibach or one of these. But if you are looking for full race all the time, coilovers are nice to have. Coilovers are good for adjusting later, but 90% of the time, if you know what height you want to be, you never adjust coilovers after you get them installed anyway. So it might be a better option to go coils, but it is what it is, whatever you want. Alright, so I got the spring off. So this is the original spring, and this is the new spring. There's two ways of doing it. They do either a shorter coil like they do here, or sometimes a longer and more progressive in the coil, so it can actually collapse the height. This one's a little shorter, but what I wanted to show you guys is how I do a bump stop modification to the bump stop, so it's not premature bottoming out or getting rough. So this is the bump stop. I already had trimmed it, so this is the length of the bump stop normally. So if you look at it, they have a taper to the bump stop, and I cut it usually different depending on how low the vehicle is going to be. I'll cut one rib off, 2 ribs. This one's pretty low, so I'm cutting it to leave 2 ribs. Some guys will leave this bump stop in, and some people will leave this side in. I leave this side in because if you leave the bigger side in, every time you hit the customer's hitting bumps and starting to utilize the bump stop, it's too progressively fast, so it's like a thud. You feel a thud every time you hit a bump, versus this one has a progressive to it, so it's soft in the initial. So look how it's thin here, and it gets progressively stiffer. So when he hits bumps, it's a little softer, then it progressively gets firm, versus it just being firm all the time instantly. So I put this bump stop in, and then now since he lowered at a different height, now the shaft is less, so he's going to have a nice travel before he hits the bump stop on bigger bumps, versus putting this in and it being dropped and being on the bump stop all the time. So good little tip. Use the bottom portion on all bump stops, and use the progressive to your advantage if you're going to use 2, 3, 4 ribs on the bump stop, but make the best determination on the height that you're actually lowering the vehicle. Alright, doing another vlog today. Today's pretty cool. I'm doing the new Corvette. I've been wanting to do this one for a while on the vlog. I've been doing a lot of the air pucks, the different coilover setups, so this will be the first one on the YouTube vlog. This time we are doing this one. Really cool color, super badass. So we're doing the KW coilovers. These coilovers are pretty badass. You can, they got little reservoirs on them. They got full adjustability. The one trick thing on the Corvette is racking the Corvette. I don't know if you've seen the YouTube videos of people racking them at the points that are underneath the frame, where it basically, the arrows say this is where you're supposed to put the rack to lift the deal, and they fall off the rack because they're so heavy in the back. The engine is all, you know, mid to rear engine. So when I rack it farther back in the back and then far up front. So I really spread them, you know. So when you're racking it, it's not gonna rock or teeter-totter, you know. So what I do usually is, you know, basically test it before I get it too high. I'll rock it, feel how stable the vehicle is. It's really solid. It's not gonna fall off the back on me. So we'll show you this one and enjoy. This is the front here. It's basically upper A-arm, lower A-arm style, like similar to a lot of things you've already seen. The way I take it off is I remove the inner bolt pivots, slide it out of the way. You actually can push it down enough to move it over to one side, and then you can do the same thing on the other side, and then go to the top and remove the bolts, and you can just drop them out. On these, a lot of them have a hydraulic line going into the strut, and the hydraulic line has a puck, like an air puck or a hydraulic puck, that raises and lowers the vehicle a couple inches in the front. Because these front air dams are so long, it allows the customer to hit the button and lift it up out of a driveway. This one is just a regular standard setup on the suspension. All right, so you take these covers off. There's a cover on each side, and then you pull off the center cover to get to the struts. The struts, the bolt's way deep down in there, so it's a pain in the ass. Once you get it, these ones are fine, but these two deep ones are super deep, so you gotta bring off these two first, and then take a magnet, pop them out, and then do this one last. Well, on that note, I just found a problem with these. Look at this, the guy probably just washing his car. Look how much water is built up. It probably comes through the plastic when he's washing the car, and it just drops in there. So if you own one of these, you might want to clean that out once in a while so you don't have an issue. I got the front strut coilover in, so it turned out good. Reservoir fits good, clean. I pre-adjusted the collars where I think it's going to be close to what the customer wants. He wants literally no gap between the wheels. So that's done. We'll move on to the back. All right, the back is done. Alright, that's a wrap on the Corvette coilover install. Old stuff is in the box. New stuff is on the vehicle. Turned out sick. Height is amazing. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.